Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of Coffee with Tracey. I am your host, Tracey Osborne. Today we are going to talk about events and how events can help you grow your business. So this is a really exciting topic for me because event planning is something I totally suck at. So I'm really excited to learn some new things so that I can plan some live events for myself. So with me today is Knakeesha Samuels, and Knakeesha, aka the Silent K, is a self-proclaimed foodie, event guru, creative, and serial entrepreneur dedicated to helping others. She is super passionate about making people's visions reality, and most of all, practical fun. She loves to make things about networking, events, business, and marketing that may seem like a daunting task and turn them into creative, fun, and even easygoing experiences. She is the CEO and founder of Charisma Event Agency, creative director of How to Run in Heels, and the event manager at the affiliate 32805 Events. Her mission is to push the three things she loves she resonates with most small businesses: entrepreneurship, women empowerment, and young professional networking. So, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited to have you here. So, events are huge. I have tried to plan events for people, and there are so many moving pieces and parts. I'm just like going, I don't know. You give me an online event, I can do it all day long. But you give me an in-person event, and I'm just like, I don't know. So let's start with number one. Let's start with, why is having some kind of an in-person event beneficial to your business?
So much of marketing and branding now is online. It's crazy how little businesses, startups, entrepreneurs are getting face to face with their clients, actually talking to them, not building an algorithm around what their consumers really want. I try to build events that really can get people face to face with either who their current clients are or who their potential target markets are. And I think it's just important, and it really sets you apart to be tangible in 2017.
Okay, that makes sense. So, when you said that, I was thinking one of my goals was in the next 5 years to have in-person virtual assistant conferences. So, just virtual assistants. But now I'm wondering if I want to expand that a little bit so that I can bring their target market or their ideal client in there as well and make those connections. So now I got to think again. It's gonna make my brain hurt. So, how does somebody even get started with event planning? Where do you even begin?
Especially for the type of events that I throw, it's usually like corporate branding, marketing type of events. I always try to figure out what's the goal. So do you want to just educate and get perception as an expert? Or do you want to reach your target market? Are you trying to launch a brand? Are you trying to gather more leads? I think gathering those goals and something measurable is number one in this time. I like to call them the 3 golden keys. So I like to create 3 golden keys. Like, okay, if anything else fails, if the caterer shows up late or the decorations aren't right, if these 3 things I can get out of this event, I'll be happy with. So I always start with that.
And what are the 3 golden keys?
It's determined.
Different for every event?
Yeah, it's different for every event because that'll go into what location you pick, what budget you have, what brand you try to portray. If you can kind of hone in on those specific goals, that should be the tool that drives you towards all your decision making.
And how do you promote these? Getting attendance, that's the big thing, especially if you're selling tickets for these. So, what are some good ways to promote and get butts in the seats?
Honestly, there's a lot of like online tools you could use. You could use like Eventbrite, which I love. I feel like it's an event planner, especially if you're bootstrapping, like the tool to use, because you can put your tickets on there, you can advertise from there, you can do email blasts from there, and then you can pay out yourself after the event. So that's like my number one go-to. Of course, you could use social media marketing, email marketing, but I think that no matter what tool you use, the best thing to do is to reach out to people directly. See who, again, back to those goals. Like if you're just trying to be seen as an expert. Go into groups, talk to people and say, hey, you know, I have a tool that I think you can use, and I think if you attend this event, you'll get a lot out of it. You should network with this person. I like to invite key players for free to my event.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say somebody who's like this really excellent blogger, and I'm doing something on you know, restaurants in the area or something. I'll invite that person out for free, and then what I'll do is I'll use that person as a marketing tool. I'll message 10 people and say, hey, at this event because this amazing blogger is going to be there, and I know that you're trying to get written about, so you can totally meet her and network with her. I think that people to people needs to be transmitted through your marketing in order to get people tangibly in the door.
Right. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So you're using them kind of like loss leaders. You get them in the door, and then okay, got it. And you know, and I know there's so many different kinds of events that you can create for a business. So what are some of the like the do's and don'ts that you see out there?
Do's and don'ts. A good one. I love to see a good conference or an expo, because there's nothing better than promoting what you do by promoting what other people do, right? I guess a don't would be just doing something completely off brand. Like you're a restaurant and you're doing a tech event. If you want to get tech people in the door, yes, but if you're really trying to get restaurateurs in your door, then just doing something completely off brand is like the biggest mistake I can see people making. Besides that, sure, I feel like almost every event could be tailored to what you want, just depending on what the end goal is.
Right. I'm trying to think of some of the events that I've gone to in the past and what I liked about them and what I didn't like about them. And a lot of the events that I've gone to, what I didn't like was that they had so many of the same kind of vendor. So maybe it's a whole bunch of colleges, or it's all, you know, all people selling the latest goji juice, or, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to go and have the exact same type of vendor. I want diversity.
Yeah, that's true.
Or the speakers weren't that great. What, you know, speaking of speakers, so, you know, if you're going to have a conference with speakers, do you ask your speakers to pay to be a speaker?
I haven't yet. I haven't experienced that yet. But I have worked in conjunction with conferences who do ask their speakers to pay. I think at that point you really have to be delivering some really great value to those speakers. Like you need to be having upwards of you know, over the 500 limit, I would say, of people, and it needs to be extremely targeted. Like you need to know exactly who's walking in the door.
Right.
Pay, because you don't want them at the end of the day to say, you know, I poured my heart out on the stage and you had nobody who was interested in what I was saying, you know.
Right.
So I would just keep that in mind. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I know that for me as a speaker, I won't pay to speak. I may pay for a table or something like that. But if I pay to speak, number one, I better get back to the room sales, and you know, like you said, great value, a lot of advertising or some, you know, some other stuff.
If you're paying, if your speakers are paying, it needs to be on the lines of a sponsorship. It has to be written and delivered along those same lines. Like if Coca-Cola or some big name brand was coming to you, you would want to make sure that their marketing and that whatever money that they give you, they can see that return on investment really easily. If you're selling, like
Right.
if you're $1,000 to set up or to speak at your event, and their product you know, cost $1,000, they need to be able to make at least 2 or 3 times that amount from the people in your room. So.
Okay. Let's say somebody's getting ready to start their first event or to do their first event. You know, what are some of the things that they need to know that they probably don't know? You know, I mean, obviously you've got to find a venue and a caterer and this, that, and the other thing, but you know, what are some of the, maybe the items that most people would overlook if they don't have the experience?
I think the biggest part is the logistics, and it's funny because as an event planner, there's a lot of people who I actually don't even like to call myself an event planner. I like to call myself an event manager better because I feel like event planners are more so into the decor, the entertainment, the caterers, those type of aspects, and people a lot of times skip over the logistical part. If you've never done an event before, you could either go to an event and do this, or like kind of whiteboard it out, or sit down with a piece of paper. But think of an event like from the time that you walk in the door. Like you walk in the door, how do you find it? You know, is there signage? Can you find it easily from the street? Can you park easily? When you walk in, how's the registration? Where do you want people to go? What type of lines do you want them to be lined up in? How fast do you want them to go to the registration? Or maybe you want them to take a while to get to know whoever is registering them and get all the information that they need. Then from there, what's the next step? Do you want them to sit down, or do you want them to mingle first? And then just go through in the entire event and think of it as the aspect of the attendee, and then write down all those details and make sure that those things are coming through. And, you know, sometimes I do this a lot because, like, I attend a ton of events just to get insight and, you know, research.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take notes. I'll say, okay, at the front desk, they had a seamless process, and it was exactly, you know, I knew exactly what I need to know when I walked in the door. And then when I came in, I was instantly put in an environment where I wanted to mingle. And then from there, you know, just following that timeline.
Sure.
Of an event and breaking down those details, and then figuring out how you can create that same environment for your event.
I've never thought of it that way. Okay. That's a really interesting thing to think of it as just going to the event and just going step by step as a end user. So that's a really, really big tip there. You know, what if somebody wants to become an event planner, or, you know, a virtual assistant out there wants to specialize in event planner or event planning? What are some ways that they could get started?
You know what? That's an interesting question because I literally stumbled into this. Like, my background, I have a degree in culinary arts. So I took a minor in sales and events, and, you know, I always had like a little bug in me that said, oh, you know, try this out, try this out. You know, I live in Orlando now, and when I got here, I had a mentor who took me under her wing, and honestly, she does events, but more than anything, she's a connector of people. She's really great at PR. She's just really great at connecting and networking people. And then she does events. So I came under her wing, and then people saw me working with her and just asked me to do their events. And then one day I got booked for a conference. So it's a little hard for me to tell people how to get started.
Okay.
I would say, like, a blanket answer, not just for event planners, is do internships. Work for people for free. Because if you can do something with passion for somebody for free, then you're going to love it 10 times more when you're getting paid to do it.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Um, I just had so on the flip side, if I were to go and I wanted to hire somebody to plan an event for me, number one, what can I expect to pay for somebody? And number two, what should I look for when I'm talking and interviewing with event planners?
So you get what you pay for, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
So when it comes to how much you're going to pay, I would just look at how all-inclusive they are. So with me, I can do anything from just showing up on the day of to coordinate the event and making sure the logistics come through, to doing a full-on campaign that includes branding the event, planning the entire event, doing a PR campaign and a social media campaign along with it. So I would say look at how much work you're willing to do and how much work you want them to do, right? I went out. Okay.
You're still there.
Okay. Yeah, you just want to see like how much work you want them to do, and
Right.
then go from that. If it for me, I could charge top dollar to thousands of dollars, or if you just want me to come in on the day of to work a few hours, it could be around $500 to $1,000 just for the day of. But it's just that's how I build my packages out, because I can just go from there. I could just do the marketing for it. I could just do the branding. I just do PR. Right. And if you're looking to do an event for your business, I would honestly look into somebody, even if you're not going to use all of those things, look into somebody who offers them. Because then you understand, even if I'm coming on the day of just to do the coordination piece, you know that I understand the branding behind your event and the goals behind your event. It's going to be way different than picking a wedding planner or something along those lines. You want to make sure that person understands business as a whole. They're not just throwing an event just to make it look pretty.
Okay. So there is a big difference between knowing how to do a business event and knowing how to do a wedding.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
So you definitely want to find somebody who specializes in business type events. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to, yeah, that makes sense. Makes total
And then
sense.
both. There are people who do both, and I've seen people successfully do both, which I commend them because, you know, wedding planning is awesome, but I need to have that like target goal, like almost like a salesperson. Like I need to be like, okay, they want to triple their leads, and I know by the end of the event I can make that happen. And I just wasn't getting that same feel when I was doing social events.
Right, right. Plus you have to deal with Bridezillas, and who wants to deal with those?
Nobody, I tell you.
Nobody. I've seen some things like on TV. I'll watch well, I don't watch Bridezilla, but I'll flip through and I'll see it, and I'm like, oh my God, just who wants to marry somebody like that? Oh my God. Ugh. No. All right, awesome. This has been really, really good. I've gotten a lot of great tips here already. So, you know, well, trying to think of how I want to phrase this question. Well, I guess, you know, we've kind of covered everything. You know, I'm thinking of how do we determine the end goal, but I guess, you know, that's kind of, again, going to be something that's based on each individual event. So do you want, you know, are you going for ticket sales or, you know, so how do you kind of figure out what that end goal is?
It should just be closely aligned to your business. I don't recommend anybody doing an event just for ticket sales.
Okay.
I think that's a very broad goal in itself. But I just think that if you're doing that type of marketing or branding event, just tie it closely to whatever your business goals are. So like example, I just started a company called How to Run Heels, right? That's my new baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing it now. And what I want to do is I kind of want to see what women are looking for as professional women beyond the networking event. So I go to a lot of events and I meet women, and it's very transactional. But I wanted to create a community that was more on a social and business level. So now that I'm creating events, I'm doing happy hours, but I'm also doing like dinner parties, and I do these great icebreakers so people can learn about each other personally. And then when I'm done with that event, I put them into my little tribe. And now they can socialize and work together, and they've been able to do things on a synergy kind of level. So that's a end goal. You know, there's a lot of other goals I could say in between there, like, you know, getting more leads and building my email list, but that's my overarching goal for that brand in itself.
Right.
So I think you just need to sit back and look at your company and see where you want your company to go as a whole. Like even like with launch events, sometimes it's just like getting the word out there. Point blank and simple. You know, you started something new, and you just need to get the word out there, gather some leads. That's a great goal to start with overall.
Okay, awesome. All right, this has been really, really good. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
All right, I enjoyed it, and I know the listeners probably got far more out of it than I did because I wasn't able to take all the notes I wanted to. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it again. I've got some serious thinking if I'm going to do a live event. So very good. Thank you. All right, listeners, always thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next show.
Awesome. Thank you, Tracey. Have a good day.
You too.